Anyway, we are going to head into our last match, and it is a doozy. We have Mainge, who is somewhat of a celebrity on this channel for his incredible Harrison
Fell Reaver
dodge and his Fell Reaver.
Also the Fell Reaver.
Oh,
Yeah,
the Harrison dodge.
The Harrison dodge
Oh.
is the best Hearthstone plays I've seen.
Oh, haunts my dreams.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. That's actually against you.
That was against me, yes.
Oh, that was against you.
That was right
yeah.
before I started casting, yeah.
That's, I'm sorry. I totally... Anyway, and he's going to be going against Twizz, who is also no stranger to the channel. He's been featured a couple times. He played in the the Brawl. He was in the Black, what was it? BRN.
Blackrock Ball?
Yep, and he played really well and with some really cool decks. And I think he's also played on a Salty Weekend as well. So Mainge is going to be bringing his Druid, Hunter, Paladin, and those are pretty standard brings for Mainge. And Twizz is bringing Mage, Druid, War. I know loves his Mage. So Twizz representing Synergy, or I think it's Synergy, and Mainge, of course, from the notorious Team Rank 5.
Team Rank 5.
So Twizz is trying to keep his team on, or get his team back to first place in their division after we saw Entropy overtake them in our first match. And then Mainge is trying to keep Team Rank 5 in second place after the noobs have overtaken them so far. So very, very high stakes in this match tonight.
Yeah, extremely high stakes. And I mean, all of these have been very much playoff deciders. So we're just waiting on them. It looks like they're about to get started, so we'll hop into that shortly. What do we think of their matchup? They only have the Druid overlap. Twizz electing to go with the Mage and the Warlock, and Mainge with the Hunter Paladin. Steve, I know what you're gonna say. Dan, which one do you like more?
Malfurion versus Rexxar.
I like the Mage Warlock.
Let's the hunt.
Yeah, I like Mage Warlock too, but I think
Paladin has not been performing tonight.
Yeah, the Paladin has been falling on its face a bit, although it did come up very clutch against our boy Tazdingo.
That is true.
So, right off the bat, we're jumping in. Mainge playing his mid-range Hunter, and Twizz with the what looks to be somewhat very defensive Druid with Ascension. So, this
Dare I
is...
say a ramp Druid.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Potentially. Yeah.
I think threw back a Sludge Belcher.
I forget what Twizz brought in Blackrock Brawl, but I know we did see a couple Ramp Druids in the Blackrock Brawl. And Ramp Druid is actually really good against Mainge's somewhat potentially aggressive lineup. However, Mainge with what looks to be like a god hand, the 1, 2, 3, and the Hunter's Mark is going to be really tough for Twizz to deal with. They both have very strong starting hands. I think the mid-range Hunter is obviously favored in this matchup, and Steve, you would say that's very much so, right? It'd be like a 60-40.
Yeah, 60-40. I don't think it's super favored. Definitely not unwinnable for the Druid, especially playing something like Senjin that's going to force trades early.
Right, sure. And this Elic, it's interesting. If this is a Ramp Druid, this Elic could give Mainge really valuable information in the joust. I would assume Mainge would probably go with the Mad Scientist, especially with the bow in the hand, and it's just such good early tempo. So we do see the Mad Scientist come down. Mainge is an extremely strong player, as we've seen him perform. I believe Mainge only has one loss on the entire season. And I would say he's got a suspiciously low PR at 394.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we might need to call a conference and investigate the Team Rank 5 PRs, because they are extremely talented for their
Team Rank 5, I believe, is the second lowest team PR in the league.
Right.
Right.
And
so let's not bring attention, John. I'd slow it down on the whole calling for inquiries into sandbag PRs.
Yeah, I do believe Archon Storm is over the salary cap.
Fine.
Just a tiny bit. But you know, that's okay.
My guy's inflated. It's terrible.
Moving on. Yeah, anyway, we see Mainge, we see pretty expected plays. Twizz playing on curve, the Senjin. Mainge has got a Hunter's Mark. Been known to bring Ramp Druid himself. So he's not one to. He may be seeing the Senjin. He may be a little concerned. That's what he's going into, and he efficiently removes it and picks up an owl off the.
Oh,
That's a pretty clutch pickup.
yeah. The owl definitely makes the hunter's mark look good in hindsight because now the owl can silence a big taunt that comes down.
And Mainge just off to a very smooth start. Doesn't hit face because the mid range is in it for the long game. And he's got a really good curve. He can curve out with the coin next turn, too. Twizz is going to Wrath here, and it looks like he's going to try to cycle, and I like that play.
I think you have to, yeah.
Yeah,
otherwise you're just sitting there with 3 mana, or you hit him in the face once.
Right. And obviously the swipe's not an option. VGH, he can guess at this point with the web spinner out that he is playing against a mid-range, so keeping VGH is clutch. Mainge picks up a snake trap, and now he's going to use his bow charge because he's got that secret up. The snake trap could get heavily punished if Twizz is able to figure it out.
Yep.
Of course, freezing trap is a huge concern to a druid player. It's just such a tempo killer.
I would assume Mainge coined out the Lotheb expecting to drop the freezing trap that he top deck next turn. That's a really heads-up play. Because I would guess that if the mad scientist had pulled freezing, he would have just gone Alec into Creeper knowing his board was safe.
Sure, that makes sense. Twizz playing the beautiful and powerful Golden Emperor Thorosan, and Mainge cannot let that live. Obviously, that's extremely dangerous in a Druid deck. And that's pretty nice from Twizz because he doesn't have to really worry about the freezing trap. So we see Alec come down, and we see Zombie Chow. So Twizz definitely not drawing the early game he could have wanted. And it's amazing that that's the 1/1 drop. Twizz is probably pretty upset about that because Mainge picks up a relevant 2 drop now. And Mainge keeps board control and keeps applying pressure. All right, so your Twizz here, you're looking at a small board, but potentially a freezing trap and a bow. What do you play?
I would probably play the Druid of the Claw and the Darnassus Aspirant, and you hope that Darnassus Aspirant lives to proc the freezing trap.
What to do?
Right, I like that a lot. Hide it behind the Druid of the Claw. Yeah, and I think that's probably what we're going to see from Twizz. He looks like that's what he wants to play.
Where shall I strike?
Unfortunately, he doesn't get a nice curve from it because the ET discount, but and a bear trap for me.
Bear
This
trap.
is very trap heavy. And with the snake trap, the freezing trap, and the bear trap, it's going to keep Twizz on his toes and guessing. And secrets and traps are something that require a lot of thought and a lot of skill to properly play around. So I'm very excited to see how Twizz handles Mainge's secrets here. So if you're Mainge here, what are you thinking? I guess you want him to stay under the ruse that it's a freezing trap. So you want to kill off the aspirant. So perhaps an owl.
Yeah, I would agree.
Juggler, owl, mad scientist.
Well, we'll see what the juggles hit.
He also does have the spiders down, so he could have some juggle potential here. And I guess that's what he's going to look for. Ooh, that goes face.
But if you trade in the Creeper, you become a little more susceptible to swipe.
Right. Right. And Mainge is just building up this tiny little creature board into a formidable issue for Twizz.
He seems hesitant to
He's
trade
going to
off.
use the bow. I really like this play a lot.
Does he get off the hero power? He misses the hero power. He loses 2 mana floating. The rope does catch him. And now that the bow's out of the way and the aspirant's out of the way, I think Twizz is pretty happy about this. He's not afraid to proc it. Now, this is where do you decide to go face or hit a minion? And I think you want to go face here.
He's going to hit a minion.
But I guess he wants to
Here
swipe.
comes the snakes.
I think this is exactly what we want to do.
The problem is the snakes will really hurt, and if all 3 of these hit this aspirant, Twizz will So he dodges it barely. But there's 1 left, and he could still trade. Oh, wow. Oh,
There's
man.
2 left.
Does the aspirant escape?
He loses the mana.
Just at the end. Now, Twizz has the juiciest of swipes, and unfortunately...
Scientists won't proc a secret,
Time waits for no one.
So I wonder if... Oh, no, there's no way to play around that, though. he couldn't have played the Ancient of Lore and swiped first. He had to attack. So that was perfectly played by Twizz. I wouldn't say unlucky because there's many juggler opportunities. And no secret coming out.
Yeah, because they're both in his hand.
Now is and the flare.
The flare.
Twizz is bringing Mage, but he is showing flare.
But he's
so
not. Yeah.
Twizz is going to be at.
Shredder's a good pickup.
He finds the Shredder. It's a really good pickup. But I would say Mainge is now really starting to feel a little bit of concern, considering he's got 2 traps in his hand and an owl, which is a very weak minion. So Twizz here's got to drop the lore and look. I don't think you heal.
I don't think you're feeling enough pressure.
Well, he finds another Savage Roar.
So he's just looking for a way
And he's
to.
gonna, Living Root's coming down. Oh, he's gonna. Okay. He's gonna clear the Shredder.
I don't know how. I actually like the 1/1s a little bit more there.
I did too.
Yeah.
Then you can really threaten.
Because you have the roar.
Savage Roar.
Right, the Savage Roar, but also the freezing trap. I liked it a lot more. And I don't really like forward to the face.
That was lucky.
Interesting.
Oh no,
The owl.
the owl. Yeah.
Gonna do that, and I think Mainge, who is desperate for plays here, will probably silence it into the owl.
And he'll play both traps behind it as well. Really going to set up a dominant position. And then he can Houndmaster the Owl, and all of a sudden he's got a huge board again.
Wow. So
good draws from Mainge.
And I think...
Wow.
Stuff.
He bailed out. He is facing down a terrifying 14 damage turn from Mainge. With the war pickup, it looks like Twizz might be able to avoid this. However, he doesn't know what trap this is. I think he's assuming it's freezing. You've seen one snake, which is pretty standard in mid-range.
Yep.
The Innervate isn't helpful this turn.
No, the Innervate just undoes the wild growth he just used.
Right, it's not helpful, but it could set him up next turn very nicely if he picks up the Force of Nature, and that'll allow him to double Savage Roar, and that'll give him... I guess this will probably get cleared, so it would give him a huge clear. He also can use this lore to heal. Alright, so
oh my god,
is.
the top deck.
Well,
Wow.
So
And a little bit of well-played action at the end.
and wrecking. This has got to be a little sad to lose this. I think the play by face tanking the 4 damage,
Yes.
and setting that, I think that was kind of a deciding play, and Mainge got extremely fortunate as we saw, but
big
it
time.
also, you kind of have to assume the worst as Twizz. So Mainge gets the mid-range hunter out of the way right off the bat, and he has
Played
Paladin.
it exquisitely. As a mid-range hunter main, I have to say he executed the cards he drew and drew into and lucked into very well.
Okay. I know you like Hunter.
He played that so well,
Just
man.
pump the brakes there.
Yeah.
Played it so well.
No, I agree. It was excellently played by both players. I think there was a slight misstep by Twizz, although he did really clear that secret really well. And we see Freeze Mage from Twizz, and we see Druid from Mainge. So, oh man.
Now, you're the Freeze Mage player, so correct me if I'm wrong, but Druid is favored in this, correct? Because they can pop block from such a high health total.
Yes, so they basically, after like turn 5 or 6, you can't let them have a board at all because their Savage Roars enable them to pop it from, huge, you're never safe. This is extremely unfavored, and moving into TGT, it's even more so. The Aspirant has done nothing but make it, I would say it's probably around a 70-30 at this point. Honestly, I think, and I have been playing a lot of Freeze recently, I would rather go up against a Patron Warrior than a Druid at this. I mean, it's so hard. We see the Lotheb, which is obviously a staple in Druid. If Mainge suspects this is anything, he would have
Looks
kept
like he
it.
tempoed as if it was...
Yeah,
he mulliganed as if it was tempo, sorry.
Right. Twizz has a great opening hand. And I mean, you can pull this out. It's definitely winnable.
Sure.
70, 30, 35, 65 around there. But that amount of burn is awful for Twizz. Absolutely terrible. He has the full golden mage. cards and the full gold and the gold mage. So he definitely, I'm sure he's very proficient with freeze, and I'm very excited to see him play this. That being said, Mainge does have Innervate. He's got Coin. He's got the way to silence this. And if I'm Mainge, not knowing what mage this is, I would silence that that mad scientist. If he suspects this is freeze mage, the correct play is to not silence it, because you need to hold those silences for the Doomsayers.
Yep.
It is one of the few ways the mage can actually win, is if they actually manage to pull off a Doomsayer. We see Mainge here. It looks like he's going to try to pop
Just
it.
thinking about a Raph.
Yeah, and that Keeper of the Grove is so valuable. If he innervates it out, it's going to be a huge loss. And I think Mainge is going to play this correctly. I think Mainge actually suspects this as Freeze Mage. That is the best possible play against Freeze Mage. Also, Twizz picks up the final part of his...
this is ridiculous.
Yeah, and that is atrocious for Twizz. Basically,
this is like opening TGT packs.
And Mainge seeing the double scientist is absolutely going to give away that this is some sort of, control mage, most likely freeze. And Mainge is in an excellent position, and Twizz is drawing
more bird.
so I think this is the worst possible hand, actually. The Fire Blast is the worst possible card he could have picked up. At this point, Twizz is going to probably start considering just burning straight to the face and not waiting for Alex. That's actually a good pickup at this point. Twizz is just got to be devastated. If he starts using burn on the minions like he just did, and if he starts doing this consistently, he's going to be going down a very dangerous road. And it's a very risky one. Basically, he's got two lines of play. He can start controlling the board with his burn and hoping to stymie Mainge's aggression until he draws into his AoEs and his draw. Or he can kind of keep all of this burn, which is definitely enough burn with 1 or 2 Ice Lances to just burn to the ground, especially since he's actually done 6 damage to Maine's face, which is the equivalent, obviously, of a Fireball. Twizz here, what I would personally like is running both Scientists in and pinging off the Belcher and saving all this burn. I think you can afford to not play the Blood Mage for 1 more turn and be okay. And he does do the play. I think that is absolutely the correct play. He thought about it for a long time, and right there, that 1 turn is basically defining how Twizz is going to play this game. He's going to play it where... And I think what he's doing right here is, this is basically anticipating worst case scenario by not using burn on the hand. He's basically going to kind of assume he's not going to have time to draw Alex. And I like this line of play. When you're playing against a Druid, you really have to kind of anticipate the worst case scenario. So Mainge is going to ramp, and he has somewhat of a dead turn here, actually. For a turn 5 for a Druid not to really play anything, that's really good for Twizz. If Twizz can draw into an Arcane Intellect, an Acolyte of Pain, a Emperor Thurston, any sort of power, draw... Okay, so Arcane Intellect is incredible. Incredible. This is so good for Twizz. And into a freezing AoE and more card draw. I would absolutely play the Acolyte. He does. Man, Twizz is playing this perfectly, and this is keeping him in it. Mainge now is going to have to answer this, and I think playing the Ancient of Lore is incorrect. Like, Mainge that would allow Twizz to actually draw, unless Mainge picks up an Innervate here, and he doesn't. So that's incredible for Twizz. He's going to get 2 draws, if not more, off this Acolyte.
Yeah.
He could potentially get 3. He also picks up the Archmage Intonitis. This is definitely a turn of fate, and I think that was actually somewhat of a misplay for Mainge. And the Doomsayer! Wow, that's enormous with Blizzard. I'm really rooting for Twizz here, to be honest. Also, I love the Golden Mage. It's my favorite deck, and he's got it full gold, which I just adore. So this is very exciting for me. He is very awkward here because he wants to play the Blizzard to kind of control the board, but at the same time, he wants to save the Blizzard Doomsayer. You can't get greedy with Doomsayers against Druids.
No.
Because they're never going to have that huge a board.
The play I'd like to see
and they're going to have
is,
keepers. Sorry.
No, absolutely. I agree, and I think Twizz is considering. He's obviously knows what he's doing. 2, 4, 6. 8. I need to switch. It's hard to count how many cards he has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he's worried about the overdraw now, and he plays with Doomsayer. This is, like, take notes. This is how you play Freeze Mage against Druid. You don't get greedy on the Doomsayer. He doesn't use his AoE. He knows it's going to get silenced, so he doesn't invest into it, and he plays around getting milled by not pinging his Acolyte. Perfectly played by Twizz, maneuvering this expertly. And he's at 35 health, so he actually has a really good shot of winning this game. He's playing this so well. Mainge is doing what he can to apply pressure, but this Blizzard is definitely going to halt that a little bit. And the ET is an enormous pickup. Twizz has, oh my god, Twizz has absolutely everything he needs to just hit the gas and go for face. So 2, 4, 6, 7. So he can ping his Acolyte here. I like pinging the Acolyte and running it into the Shredder. Or you could go face as well, just because you're going to want to do face damage at this point. So definitely ping for sure. And he's going to do this. This is going to increase Emperor's effect as well, which is fantastic. An Ice Lance! Oh my god! So Twizz is actually in really good shape. I actually like going after the Shredder or face. And he does go face. That's totally acceptable. And Twizz is turning this nightmare hand around. And now, actually, I would say he is... If he doesn't get popped here, I think he's going to just straight up win this. So Mainge didn't have a way to pop him, right, with Savage Roar? And
no, he didn't have Force of Nature.
Well, he has Savage Roar and Druid Claw, which is a lot of damage.
It's only 6.
Yeah.
Well, but he had a board full of things. 6 plus
13,
4,
6.
10.
No, he would not have been able to pop.
Okay. So
I mean, it was a full 30 damage you would have had to do.
Yeah,
okay,
I just did the math.
At this point, what Twizz has to consider is, can he avoid getting his block popped for one more turn?
And the answer is no.
Right. So what he needs to do here is halt. So right, there's 2 ways of going here, and one is to basically go straight face and just kill him next turn, or try to halt it, and this is absolutely correct. I am just so impressed and happy. Twizz is playing this perfectly, and I think he has guaranteed lethal. Yes, he does. 12.
Yep, definitely. Oh, but the Lothab.
Oh! The one card that could potentially save Mainge. The question is, can Mainge Lothab...
It's not gonna, I mean... I still don't see how it could work out. He'd have to be able to do it in 2 turns. I guess he could Savage Roar.
Lothab with Savage Roar will allow him to clear and pop.
Oh, the one card, and this will be a heartbreaker if Twizz loses this match. He's played it absolutely perfectly, and Lothab, I think he can totally pop. The question is, can he clear Antonitis? If I'm Mainge at this point, I think I don't worry about it. I think
why? You have to.
Well, no, because he has
Antonitis plus 1 fireball would kill him.
You'll never heal out of his fireball.
Sure, so you're dead next turn.
So he's gonna pop the block, and he's gonna kill. Yes, he can do it, and he's going to kill Antonitis and play Lothab. This is actually really devastating. 7.
Doesn't he need to pop the block? Did he?
He's going to with the bomb.
Oh, with the bomb, he didn't attack.
And he hero
power. So second ice block is his only out here, correct?
Well, let's see here. 7, 8, 9, 10, and oh! That's
He drew it. Oh my gosh.
That's
wow.
Wow.
So he's counting it as lethal. By the way, just a heads up, he was only 1 off lethal. If Mainge hadn't hero powered, he had lethal anyway.
Yeah.
Just see that's pretty cool. And the top decked. So unless Kazan goes down,
back.
that is an incredibly played game. No Kazan, no way of drawing it. Twizz takes this game, and that is, I I mean,
Well played.
just superbly played by him. The key play there, it doesn't obviously it doesn't look like key, but trading into the Belcher and not using his burn, saving it for face damage was it was an incredible heads-up play. Twizz realized he had a terrible hand. He had no way of controlling Mainge's board, and he had to play extremely aggressive. It pays off, and oh man, that was just a fantastic game.
Wow.
Very much deserved by Twizz. So Twizz ties it up with just, yeah, incredible play. Mainge, to his credit, didn't misplay a single play, and his wrath on turn 2 or 3 or whatever showed
Against the scientists.
Yeah, and that was absolutely the best play Mainge could have done to a freeze mage. Saving his Keeper of the Grove.
Mainge was dead in the mid game on turn 5 and 6. He just had nothing to do.
Right. Yeah. No, he definitely drew a little dead. But
his back-to-back draws were BGH and the Black Knight. He hit
the
tech
top
cards
deck
that were just
low
worthless.
deck, was duly answered by the top deck Ice Block. Incredible matchup there, and it's so Twizz gets the Mage done out of the way, and now he has Druid and Warlock. Mainge still has Druid and Paladin. So, yeah, I think Twizz, by the way, was probably aiming for the Paladin. Freeze Mage, as I've said many times, it's like a walk in the park against Paladin. And Mainge with the Black Knight definitely teched really well, considering he's going up against what looks to be a Handlock and a Druid. So the Black Knight is very relevant, and something you don't see much. And I think that could really, really surprise and give Mainge a huge advantage. So what do you guys think here? It seems like the Druid, the combo Druid, has really been doing very well against Handlock recently.
It's definitely gotten better. And then the Black Knight tech, like you said, is going to make a big difference as long as he doesn't tech as if it's a zoo.
To explain why, sorry, continue.
For Twizz to go Warlock against Druid gives Mainge the idea that it could, in fact, be a zoo. But he did keep the Black Knight, so good on him.
I want to explain really quick. Mange lets the clock run out.
No, he did not.
Mange lets the clock run out and lets Twizz mulligan first to get an idea of what Twizz is playing. Twizz got rid of all but one card, and that indicates it is Handlock, so Mainge probably got the correct read. However, as it's surprising he gave up the Death Knight, or I'm sorry, the Black Knight.
Black Knight.
Considering he probably got the correct read that this is Handlock. That being said, he has quite the hand. He ramps, he's got half of the combo, he's got the BGH, he's got a
Shade is
turn
going to get
Shade.
huge.
So this is going to be tough. Mange does have the Golden Druid, which I forgot to point out last game, which means he's obviously very confident with it. Twizz bringing the Golden Warlock, and the Keeper of the Grove. So Mange with everything he needs going into turn 4. And he can, even though Hero Empowering, on turn 4 and not doing much else feels kind of bad, he has all the responses, and he's got a Shade that's going to get enormous. Double
Zombie Chow.
Double Zombie Chow. Also, Twizz is a fellow lover of gold cards. He's got gold Zombie Chows, golden Mountain Giants. He's got a lot of gold cards. The double Zombie Chow certainly has to be aimed at the Paladin. And I don't know for certain, but I would be surprised if Mainge's Paladin is actually aggressive. I would expect a much more mid-range Paladin from Mainge. So Mainge continues to draw somewhat dead. He can't really use his accelerated mana here, and he's going to try to draw into something. Obviously, the Zombie Chow's healing effects don't really... Oh, what?
Nope. He's just...
I think he's just going to wait till he can hopefully combo the Warlock down.
Oh, wow. I really am surprised and disagree with that play. We see the Void Caller coming out, so we know it's Demon Handlock. And here comes the Giant, and Twizz has got to be feeling good. Going into 3 cards, or I guess 4, you've got to expect no response. But Mainge has it, and he is going to be able to play it. But again, Mainge on a very awkward curve. And this Zombie Chow is going to actually be able to take the BGH for free
BGH
unless...
down.
And he... Did he not attack into the hero? He didn't. He didn't hit Twizz in the face.
No, he did not.
So Twizz is going to have a great trade and the ET that is going to force Mainge to unveil his shade where he has a BGH waiting for it. Does he have a silence? He doesn't have an owl, so the BGH is the only response. Although I guess he does have the Dark Bomb, which would be much better. Does he have a Dark Bomb? I thought I saw it.
But Mange is going to
Yeah.
low Theb, so he won't Dark Bomb.
Right, Mange certainly will low Theb. I feel like Mange really
He could
doesn't
still
wanna-
Dark Bomb.
Right, but Twizz will probably BGH
Oh, yeah.
it. But I feel like Mange really doesn't want to unveil here. But you can't afford to leave it up, and you can't afford to silence it. He's forced into this play, and I feel like Mange. This is just so awful for a Druid not to draw any mid game to contest this board. This is agonizing for Mange because he knows the handlock's gonna be able to either owl it or have some sort of response. And
Deal with it.
I think killing it off with the Keeper is just too painful. But I think Mange is really considering Keepering and then Wrathing for 3. The problem is he'll be left with basically a really... Oh, man. And he's going to go with this. And honestly, looking at Twizz's hands, there are no... Oh, man. He gets the play off. And now Mange is really hedging his bets on Savage Roar. He's got 2 cards in his hand. This handlock is just got a hand chock full, but I mean,
A lot of stuff.
Twizz is probably definitely concerned about the 7/7. He needs to get taunts out, and his demons aren't really that great. Honestly, his hand's kind of dead.
Yep.
He has 1 taunter in the Sun Fury, but it's not a great one. Mange finally drawing some mid-range, but it's pretty weak in the handlock mirror. Also, worth noting, Mange brought a Sludge Belcher, which has widely kind of been phased out in a lot of Druid lists.
Yes, it has.
All right, so Mange, I think. What do you think? Do you think he wants to swing here or not?
I think he wants to just hold it back, but...
I think you have to.
I don't know.
I think you've.
If you swing, you can potentially combo for lethal next turn, correct? Even through taunts. Okay, but he does hold back.
Yeah, I think you have to. It's your win condition at this point. Like, Twizz has... Like, Mange has no hand.
Yeah.
And we see... Oh, my gosh!
Oh, this would be a
Drake.
greedy Twilight Drake. Oh, no, he has 1 mana Sun Fury, I'm sorry.
And he puts it... He keeps the Void Caller untaunted, obviously for health reasons, but... Oh, and the Savage Roar is picked up! What is the math here?
There's
no way he has it. He's got to get through 2 taunts.
7?
no. Now, if he had swung
Was
last
it
turn,
6?
I think he'd have it.
Well,
If he
he
had
would
swung
have
last turn, though, the owl would have... Yeah.
or the owl or something would have killed him. Yeah, there's no way. That's 11 plus 8.
That was a great play by Twizz.
17. So Twizz is sitting high and mighty, and that was Mange is now locked out. And this is gonna be he's gonna have to start using this 9/9.
I don't think so now. I think he'll just trade into the Ancient Watcher, and he'll play Sludge Belcher. And he'll just keep buying his time until he can combo for lethal.
That's a much better play. Yeah, that's totally fair, and it looks like that's what he's gonna do. The problem is, if Twizz gets a Shadow Flame, I mean, Twizz can start dealing with these minions, and then Mange is gonna be stuck. Oh,
Oh, he does swing.
Okay.
Well, he forces Twizz to basically clear his board.
Oh, there's the Shadow Flame.
Oh my gosh.
That
So
feels bad.
now the problem is Twizz really doesn't have. He has no taunters. So how does he clear this? I mean, he has no way. Like, he really doesn't want to bring out
YOLO
Draft.
Doomguard. You only have a 40% chance of discarding Shadow Flame. That's fine.
Oh, well, he can BGH. No,
Yep.
I guess you want a Shadow Flame. Or he can owl, too. Yeah, I like this. You owl this, you beat, and then you Shadow Flame your Watcher.
Okay.
And then you run in, you just clear the board with the rest of your minions. Although that will
almost out of time.
Or he's gonna owl the shade.
So I wonder what he's trying to save that BGH for.
Yeah, that's a good
Well,
point.
Dr. Boom, I think. So which one does he get? He gets Jiraxxus, and that's really hard for Druid to deal with. But without a Taunter, Jiraxxus is not that great. I'm sure he would have preferred to have gotten something else. And the deadest of draws for Mainge.
Not necessarily. Second Savage Roar is lethal from this point on.
Right. So Twizz has got to tap for. If he gets one taunt, this game is ostensibly over.
Yes.
That is wow. But dead draws from Twizz, so Mainge has still got a chance to top deck Savage Roar, and I mean Twizz, if he's been following Mainge's hand, he's been seeing this Force of Nature just not move for the entire. And that is the deadest of. I mean,
Yep.
oh,
that
man,
was the worst.
And this is what happens. I mean, in order to procure those, you know, massive ramp turns, you have to run these ramp accelerators, and you're going to get these dead draws. So Twizz has got to be feeling good. He just needs one taunt, and he is in the blue. I mean, he is just totally fine if he can get one taunter. Still misses, and I think you still have to tap here. You really need to find that taunter. But he may just go with Dr. Does he have next turn lethal? 6,
Yeah.
9 plus 9? Yes, he does. And that's not going to give Mainge lethal. It is a good minion, but at this point it's too late in the game. Mainge has already used his BGH. It's looking really grim for him. He can stay alive, obviously, but he'll have to blow his entire hand.
What? Where shall
Or I guess he could go into taunt.
No,
because
he's
stalling
okay.
one more.
He's not dead now. If he had charged and killed the Drake, he would be dead.
With
to
the,
Doomguard.
I guess he doesn't know about the Doomguard. Is the Doomguard lethal though?
I believe so.
One.
Depending on
Boombot
how Boombots
certainly
land.
Face. Well, certainly a hit face, so at least one.
Yeah,
Plus
that's lethal
2.
then.
Plus 10 is 12. Oh, it's exact lethal.
Yep.
If it's exactly
Provided the Boombot only hits once. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exact lethal.
many possibilities?
Yeah, it no matter what the Boombot does. So Mainge played it really well, but never really got his closer, his finishers. He never drew a lore. Wait, did he have a lore?
No.
Not that I saw, no.
I don't think he had a lore. So Mainge just
Did
kind
not.
of dead. And that's kind of a big upset because the Druid generally is able to get that win. And now Mainge is kind of stuck on his Druid. And going into the Druid mirror doesn't feel good. I'd expect Mainge to switch to Paladin as it is favorite.
I do too. Most definitely.
And Mainge is just trying to make sure he gets
Nope,
at least
he's
wins.
staying on
He
Druid.
elects to stay on
Staying with
Druid.
it.
He does have
It
the
is
black
gold.
tech, so it is. Wow, we see a Savage Combatant, which we hadn't seen previously.
Will rise
Both players
against
with
you.
pretty terrible hands. They're probably going to want to dump everything. The Twizz, the Senjin is generally really bad in the mirror. It's just so weak and doesn't
Yeah,
trade
doesn't
very
get
well.
you any value.
Right. So I think Twizz is, from what we've seen of his Druid, it looks like it's pretty weak. He does have the Ancient of War, which is very difficult for a Druid to deal with if it doesn't have a keeper, or naturalize. Yeah. So the Ancient of War could be helpful, but usually by that time in the game, it can be tough. So Twizz is able to find an aspirant, but those double wraths are kind of ugly. And no Innervate or Wild Growth. The Innervate is really key. I was listening to some analysis of the Druid Mirror, and Frodan was saying that he believes, and I tend to agree with him, that the Innervate is more important in the Druid Mirror than the Wild Growth or
I would
Aspirant.
totally agree. Yep.
Yeah, because the Druids don't have that hard response. They don't have the hard removal that a lot of other classes do. So they have a hard time dealing with Dr. Booms and such early. So both players with relatively docile mana accelerant turns. They both have the aspirants. Looking at these hands, Steve, who do you think has the edge?
I like Twizz because he has the response to the Darnassus Aspirant. I would have liked to see him coin out his Darnassus Aspirant there. But because he didn't now, even though he'll have responses, he'll be playing
wow.
from behind. Yep,
Well, he
even
picks
more
up the
reason.
second one. Mange has a pretty nice curve. I I agree. From the hands, I think Twizz has the advantage. But I think knowing what we know of Mainge's deck, I think Mainge's deck is much better suited for the mirror. Twizz with the Senjin, notably, is just really bad, and Mainge with the Black Knight, which generally finds extreme
there's the
value.
coin into Shred. Oh, I think I would coin into double aspirin here.
I agree.
I like it a lot, absolutely.
What's he gonna do about it?
Guide my lands.
Yeah, exactly.
Double Wrath.
This is really hard to respond to. Even a double Wrath, you wouldn't care about on turn 4. Mange will have the Shredder, which is much more board presence, but Twizz will be able to respond with the. Oh wow. So Mange will have Shredder, which is I like this, but Twizz is gonna really be able to. Oh. And the Sylvanas is a really tough one for Druids to deal with, too.
I think this is correct here.
Yeah.
Assuming it comes
You don't
down.
want to deny yourself that all that
Amani's
value.
pretty good.
Oh, but... You think the Amani's good for Mange, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double Savage Roar. Okay.
So, Mange does have the mid-range. Twizz, I think they're both, both doing pretty well, but Twizz has solid board control. And Swipe doesn't do a lot. So, Mange is going to have to try to keep putting down minions and hoping Twizz is not going to have the responses. But we see that Twizz does have his mid-range covered. Also, I wanted to say, I foolishly said it's really hard for a Druid to remove an Ancient of War, but Black Knight is the ultimate response to Ancient of War. We see Mange with extremely aggressive charge. What do you think of that?
He's probably worried about a turn 7 or a 7 mana play.
Yeah. And it's immediate value on board, as opposed to leaving it there to get Wrathed or something next turn.
I have no time for games.
He's already seen both Wraths.
Yeah, that's a good point. A taunt could come up though, and then block the value that you would expect to get from
No,
it.
I agree. If a lore had just come down or a Ancient of War, it'd be catastrophic.
Mange will have a way to catch up on board here though, and he's got the card advantage, so this is far from over.
Just a note, Twizz's sequencing there, he made sure to play the 6-mana creature before trading the Aspirant to ensure that he had the mana crystals. That's just a subtle note that was well played by Twizz. So Mange is able to get rid of what could be a really annoying Sylvanas. Wow, we see the Cenarius. So Twizz, and we see the Savage Roar. So this looks like maybe potentially a single Savage Roar list with some heavier minions. And generally the more aggressive lists do better. So Mange might still have an edge, but
Nope.
no. Maybe it's a 1.1.
It's gotta have to be 1.5.
Yeah, I don't know how he's fitting all of these. It has to be a 1.5. So, Twizz with no BGH here is going to have to figure out a way to, do you race?
Yeah, I think you just ignore
Also,
it.
you don't have lethal, does he?
No.
6,
No.
12, plus 7.
7 plus 12. No, he's 1 off.
1 off lethal. Alright, so he's going to go with the Belcher here and try to hope there's some semblance of a board to give him lethal.
Oh.
He's trading, and
Wow.
oh,
So lucky.
So
very
lucky.
good draw. And now Mange is really on.
Pretty screwed.
I mean, he does have a taunter, which is enormous versus Twizz, but I mean, this is going to be really tough for Mange to dig his way out of.
He
Swipe
may get
is
some
a
value out of the
very good
Boombot.
pickup.
That's a smart
Wait.
move to swipe first.
Yeah, he's got a relatively clean clear here.
Yeah.
Another really unfortunate Boombot for Mange. Twizz has got him not be feeling good. He might have a completely dead turn. He needs to top deck hard. Mange is really gaining.
Combatant is so good right here.
And Mange is really gaining momentum. Mange is actually threatening next turn lethal, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, easily. So, actually,
I don't know if he is now.
So-
I think he might have been with double
8.
Savage Roar and a combatant next turn.
9, 10. So Twizz is 2 damage off lethal.
3.
Or 3, sorry. Thank you. I think you have to keep her here and clear the boom with the 1-2.
He's thinking about Savage Roaring.
I know.
He's gonna do this now.
I think he wants a Savage Roar to clear, but I think the double Savage Roar is. I don't know. Like he's
I
not
agree. It's such a surprise.
It's a win condition. It's really your only rely. It's the only win condition you have right now.
And he knows if he can survive next turn, which is a fair thing to think will happen if he can clear the boom and have 24 health, then he's got Cenarius, who should guarantee.
He's gonna hero power.
A body. Now that.
Oh, wow.
He's cares about that board. I mean, he's threatening lethal now if he doesn't. Oh.
Black Knight value.
Totally dead draw. Mainge, though, has the 4-5, and that's a really strong 4-5 to throw down. And that's going to be really
And you can even trade with the Shade and not feel bad about it.
Yep. I mean, Mainge is low health, but this taunt is a lifesaver, and
assuming he taunts it.
Oh, I'm sure he will.
I don't know how you
12
couldn't.
health, and it's going into turn 9. He definitely will taunt this.
Oh,
but,
yeah, good point.
But I don't know
Where shall I strike?
what he's doing with Savage Roar. Oh, he's clearing board.
He's threatening lethal.
Oh,
He's
well,
not ready for scenarios.
what he's also doing is this would, I think, prevent lethal from Twizz. Wow, Twizz picks up the biggest trap card of his life.
This could be his downfall.
So Mainge right now is going to really start cleaning this up, and I don't know if, because Twizz is going to have to use the Cenarius to clear the taunt. Twizz really needs his second force of nature, and if it is a 1.5 list, he only has one, presumably. And that's 17 cards. So Twizz may just start really languishing in the water.
This could be so bad. Oh, he's going to do it.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Oh man.
No.
Now Twizz is jumping up and down. Look at him.
He just
Bouncing over.
Yep.
His Ancient of War.
But, I mean, that's really good, but still, Mainge has such a board.
Oh!
He has lethal.
Oh,
He has lethal with the
wow.
Savage Roars.
Oh, he had lethal. Right, he had lethal either way. The top deck swipe didn't matter. So Twizz.
Oh no, he didn't have lethal.
Yeah,
I
he
missed the
does
taunt.
now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, so the
That
top
is nuts.
like some insane top deck. Mainge toppled for only the second time this season, going down 3-1, and Team Rank 5 may be in trouble to Noob Central in the playoff picture now. So
I'm sure Cassidy's tallying that up right now.
No, I letting the fate decide because I think we only have one match left, so it'll be how the rest of Team Rank 5 performs will determine whether or not they go through. They have their fate in their own hands still.
Gotcha.
Some excellent games. A lot of playoff pictures got very much decided tonight. A lot of great top decks and great games. I mean, the Slimsh Pastry game was incredible. A lot of really cool decks. I don't think anyone has ever heard of Mech Paladin. I think, at least in this casting booth. So
they have now.
Yeah, they have now, and Pastry is out for the #1 spot in the league. We have next week we will be going into the playoffs. So it's very exciting as the playoff pictures start to come into focus. But that is it for us. Is there anything you guys have to add?
If you're with us
great
live right now, thanks for staying with us. And and thank you for a season. A great season.
Yeah, an awesome season. And I just want to say, last note about the Twizz game. If you want to learn how to play Freeze Mage, take notes on that game. That was an incredibly played game by Twizz. A lot of really good games and talent. So we'll be back with you guys next week. So for everyone in